All right. Jeskai Control. This is one that we had played once before since the latest set dropped, and Inspired Ultimatum was really impressive. Like you could see here, after the last time we played, I concluded I actually wanted more Inspired Ultimatums than Teferi Hero of Dominarias, and I'm interested to play again here today and see if that ends up being the case again once we're done. Sword and Shield, thanks for the 13 months. We've got a couple copies of Shark Typhoon from the latest set here. We're actually up to playing 28 lands with 4 copies of this Triome, as well as 3 castles here. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches with this in a historic event and see how it goes. And this one goes well a second time through. I think I'm probably going to throw it up on the website. Feels pretty good. We've only had the 2 historic anthology previews, right? We have Phyrexian Obliterator and Nulamog. Play my bad mana Torque deck. Sounds good. Keep up the good work. Hope you're staying safe. Haven't been able to make it to the streams. I thought I'd give a little bit more money. Can I bump up today's Teamer Mutate? You can. Sounds good. It's honestly impressive how Saffron Olive can just like turn anytime he has an issue with anything in Magic into an excuse to complain about the London Mulligan. I just need to stop engaging with him. It's so tiring. Dude just has one mode, yelling at the sky because he's an old man who's angry about the game he plays changing. This is probably going to be a pretty rough matchup. Based on they're a Field of the Dead deck. Okay, that's probably actually better for us with this hand, although CLOA is probably still going to be bad. I say if this start looked kind of like they could be. Yeah, and at the end of the day, his opinion just doesn't matter because like they're not getting rid of the London Mulligan. It's here to stay, and for good reason. It's here to stay. Like the London Mulligan's the best thing to happen to Magic in a long time. I feel like content creators like him would be better served if they like played more other card games and experienced like just how low variance they are compared to Magic. It's like night and day. It's a lot of Cavaliers chat. This matchup's probably very bad for us. I don't think we played against any Field of the Dead the last time we played this. So 23 months, Space Ace, welcome back. Come seal away. Come seal away. Come seal away with me. Morning, Kenneth. It is the champ. Looks like we're escaping an Uro. I think we're probably dead here. I don't know. I don't know that we have a super reasonable... There actually isn't a ton of Field of the Dead in this format. So I don't have a ton of very good cards for this matchup. I've got Stroke and Gust, which are both fine. We've got some sweepers, but we basically need to find our way to our Planeswalkers and our Shark Typhoons fairly quickly. Is the plan. This deck's more of a tap-out control deck, so it's looking to interact with, like, creature decks, and it's got tools for, like, beating Nexus of Fate. Sure, yep. That's perfect. You love to see it. The Justice Strike, Friction Obliterator who sacks the person that controls it, silly cheese. Because the Obliterator is dealing damage equal to itself. Really? I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm used to it. Nah, I don't even know if that's true, because it's even when I started. Streamlabs and OBS and all that, they're, like, really straightforward. Like, I feel like whenever someone's, like, impressed with what I do, it's like, well, it wasn't hard. Yeah, you can type exclamation point help in chat to get a big giant pool of chat commands. Yeah, she's a good flexible mid-game champ. Yeah, looks like elemental field. Which again, one of the tough parts about playing more interactive decks in formats with deeper card pools like this is the fact that you're just hoping your cards kind of line up in some percentage of your games. And there's gonna be matchups, where, especially when you're playing a more hard control deck like this, where you just can't be prepared for everything. So you just don't have enough card slots for it, basically. Well, that's unfortunate. How common is Field Historic? When I came back and everywhere and I stopped playing the format, but if it's uncommon, maybe it's worth playing again. I don't actually think the Field of the Dead decks are that good. And that's speaking as someone who really likes playing them. I think if you were someone who was losing to Field of the Dead a lot, you probably weren't playing a very good deck. Like, the better decks in this format are like the Gruul aggro decks are very good. The white weenie aggro decks are very good. We had Nexus put up some results at the last tournament, but I'm still not convinced that one's very good. It gets pretty beat up by Gruul. The aggro decks in this format are very, very efficient. Didn't want to cycle the Typhoon to kill the Reef. Alright, you're not new here. Just as a reminder, like, especially if you're not new, instead of saying, hey Jeff, why didn't you do the thing? Instead, tell me why I should do the thing. Because my hope is that my opponent's going to use the Cinder Vines to kill my search for Azcanta, and then eventually I'll play this Shark Typhoon and be able to use the sharks to kill them through their Field of the Dead. So if you think you have a better plan than that, I would love to hear it, but tell me why. The devil is in the details. I need to know what those details are. I've got this Deafening Clarion in my hand to form a game plan to kill this and clean up some zombies eventually. Yeah, in our last, like, 30... In our last, like, 30 historic event matches, I think I can count on one hand the number of times I've played against Field of the Dead. Yeah, matchups like this are like, you need to put them on an actual clock, is basically the TLDR, and Shark Typhoon is our best way to put them on an actual clock. Opponent making a pretty big mistake here, letting us get an extra free surveil there, which is nice. That's not pretty big, it's a small mistake. We're probably dead to this Genesis Ultimatum anyways, we'll see. They are playing a Fire Stack. Okay, so they're just like playing a variation of kind of the deck we played in Standard the other day, huh? This matchup's probably difficult to impossible for us. Our control deck. Need to find a sweeper here. I guess the sweeper isn't even that good, just because, like, they'd get... No, Genesis Ultimatum exiles itself. Okay. They'd get Red Cav back, though.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
Yeah, and honestly, so, like, decks like the opponents are actually one of the things that I think make Historic a better place than Standard, at least in my opinion, because while I like being able to play decks like what I'm playing and being somewhat competitive, I actually think formats where, Teferi control decks are like one of the best decks in the format tend to not be particularly enjoyable. Welcome back, Alkalol. I appreciate the 23 months, the tier 3 at that. You're good. You're good. You got the sub icon next to your name. The Aura Tog in there too. I think I got the best Arak. Yeah, the Did You Win survey, I feel like it's so weird. I feel like they should just offer that survey, like, randomly when people are in the deck editor, because it's basically just, like, Did You Win survey is what it effectively comes down to. Yikes. The old 28 land deck. The old 28 land deck, keep a 2-lander, get an extra draw. Well, I mean, I guess we technically hit here, huh?
My prowess, own your prowess.
Alright, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Not prepared for this.
What microphone do I use? I use Blue Yeti microphone. It's like the pretty industry standard. This is a budget, reasonable quality microphone. How did the Standard tournament go? It went well. We had like 230 people once the random people that signed up that didn't join were moved out. Next event will be historic. It'll be on May 23rd. One thing I think that we're gonna be doing moving forward is that I think we're gonna make an announcement about this if we cap again formally. But I think if we cap the next Hoots tournament, which is looking like we might, I think we have over 200 people signed up already. But if we cap the, God bless America. Come on, Saffron, come look at my game. Tell me how little variance there is in Magic the Gathering. Please, come tell me how little variance this game has. Sorry, focus. If we keep capping the Hoots tournaments at 256, I think we're going to start keeping a list of names and penalize people who join the tournament but then don't show up the morning of to play. Because if you're joining the event and then you're not playing the day of, you're very likely taking a spot from someone who would have played the day of. I think the penalty will just be whatever the next event is, you're not going to get a slot in it. Seems like a pretty fair way to approach it. I really don't want to add more players to the tournament, because if we go past 256, we have to add 2 rounds. I don't want to add 2 more rounds. Good morning, oldest son.
Good morning, Daddy.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Good?
Hey, Daddy, what back?
What's that card? That's an ultimatum. It's got fire on it, huh? It's pretty cool.
I'm out there too.
There are 28 lands in this deck, chat. We drew 2 extra cards. We surveilled, like... Sidetruck is bad. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, let's get some extra sweepers in here.
Hey, Daddy.
What's up, dude?
I want a show at you.
You want to watch the show in the basement?
Yeah.
Okay, use the remote, dude. You know how it works. Press the white button.
Thank you, Daddy.
I just want you to know, just in case there's anybody watching that follows me on Twitter, that implying staging a protest in a state capital while there's a stay-at-home order in effect, and implying that bringing your assault rifles to that state protest in my Twitter mentions is gonna get you blocked. Because there's no reasonable conversation to be had with someone who's stupid enough to think that assault rifles are necessary for something like that. You're just an idiot. Sorry. Hypnos, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. There's no, gotta know when to engage and when not to engage, chat. And, that's definitely a big old need to ignore. We were 0.3% to miss. Whew! Nailed it. Nailed it. Those people are terrorists. I agree. They not only had physical assault rifles, they were also staging a biological terror attack, ignoring the stay-at-home order for a reason to go out like that is spreading disease. You are engaging in biological warfare. That's just what it is. Most of them weren't wearing masks. They were in close quarters with each other. They were breaking the law, too, on top of all that. What does Bishop of Wings do? It gains you life when you play angels, and when your angels die, you get tokens. And not one of them was reprimanded by any form of loss. Seriously? Yikes. I think we're jump blocking because I'm sweeping the board, right? Of course, Trump called those people good people. Trump told those people to do what they did. He told people to go liberate their states. Those people did exactly what their glorious leader told them to do. Yeah, correct. Yeah, they're exactly the all lives matter people too, right? It's like, oh, I guess you actually didn't mean all lives matter because you're ignoring the stay-at-home order, right? It was actually just about racism the entire time. Weird that it was actually just about racism the entire time. Who could have possibly known that you didn't actually care about people and you were just a racist? We are in fact solidly in garbage time here. Thanks for the third of a year, Forka. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right. Yep. In. Yeah, this is fine. We don't have any sweepers in it, but it's got double spot removal and a Conqueror's Death, so you're gonna have another spot removal. Thanks to the brand new tier 1 subject. Very welcome to Hoaglandia. How do you feel about a Mosh running as a prominent libertarian candidate thinks it hurts Biden or Trump more? Wait, is a Mosh running for president? Is that real? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't, like, super followed anything. He has an exploratory committee, sure. I don't know. If you've listened to my stream a little bit, you know that I'm pretty much of the opinion that the Dem plan to encourage people who had previously voted for Trump to vote for, like, trying to sway people who are still Trumpers at this point is kind of nonsense. They're basically a cult, and you can't reason with a cult. You can't logic people out of a cult. Stinkins, thanks for the 12 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Easy trade. And, like, honestly, so, like, you know, we talk about decks keeping things in check. Like, the field matchup was difficult to impossible for us, but, you know, the games here where we actually got to play Magic and had lands, they've been slaughters, right? Like, these second two games have not been close. I really hope we get to find out. I hope we get to see what it looks like if we make elections accessible and get mail voting for everybody.
Let's slow this down. I'll protect you.
You can't reason people out of a position they didn't use reason to get into. That's a really elegant way to put it, Scapt. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that line in the future. It's a good phrasing.
Here we go.
think we're just Shattering the Sky on their turn. Is Cardboard Live not working? You're the second person to say that. Oh, weird. Alright, try and refresh your browser. It should be live now. The application, like, randomly logged me out, which is weird. Maybe it had an update. Maybe it updated while I wasn't looking. That's weird that it doesn't save my credentials, though. Maybe it has to re-credential every time it updates. No, thanks for the heads up. I just assumed it was working in the background. I just like looked and saw. I was like, oh, it's on my taskbar. It should be fine. Turns out that was not the case, and I'll make sure to click on it from now on. Probably should mulligan this against Allura's deck. Double Inspired Ultimatum. You probably mulligan this against most things. Pretty slow. I'm gonna keep all the spot removal here against Allura's deck. Boot it up. We've not played with or against any of those, Hangdren, no. Citywide Bust. That's a card. Hey, thanks for the 19 months, King Tower. Welcome back. I'm just doing this. Basically, just trade 2 for 1 with them. I assume this match is unwinnable for us because my opponent has a companion and we don't. And based on Magic, Twitter, and Reddit, that means I can't win. Morning, Nocti. What does that have to do with anything, thanks? So, gotta kill the Lurrus right away.
That's more like it.
So that way, they can't cast more stuff. Oh, you tried it in Historic? Sure. Yeah, a Curious Obsession isn't a card in Standard, right? No other playable cards ever printed companions of the first. Yep. So you get it at least. You understand. You know what's up? Islands are the best companions. They know about the seal away. Alright, well we just play the Shark Typhoon, right?
This might be a bad idea.
Yikes! That's unfortunate.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Thanks for the 11 months, Agent Fett. Welcome back. I think I'm just using the Shatter there to 1-for-1 them because I'd like to start deploying my Bonecrusher Giants and not worry about sweeping them away. This is kind of a punish though. Although I suppose I get to seal that away eventually. How's it going this morning? We're 1-1 in this league with Jeskai control to start in game 1 against an Abzan Luris Brew here. Wonder if they'll turn this Glow Spore Shaman into something useful. Sir Mustache, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Welcome back. I think I just take this hit. And then we'll seal this away. And then Bonecrusher can trade with Glow Spore Shaman. That's exactly how it's worded, Dirty Digits, because the rules of Magic didn't let them template that card in a way other than like that. After the hoots name shaming from you and Matt, I finally harmonized my accounts. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks for the tier 2 and for the happy year at that, Jareth. Welcome back. I appreciate that you put non-biased in quotes there, because every article has a bias. The key to understanding news in 2020 is not looking for articles that you think don't have a bias. It's looking at the articles and then understanding the bias through which they're written. And then using that to interpret and make your own judgments based on the information contained within. So I think we attack with this, and then I'm going to go ahead and Shatter, draw a card, get my Teferi back, play my Teferi.
This isn't a fight you can win.
Main deck D-Spark, interesting.
Hold that thought.
I agree, Rock. And at the end of the day, you can't even really blame the DNC or the Democratic establishment. The blame definitely falls. The blame definitely falls on the voters, right? Like, incredibly disappointed in the fact that, like, the moderate Democratic voter base had, like, Pete and Amy to pick from, and they settled on Joe Biden. who was the worst of the candidates. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna show up and vote for Joe, but like, you can still do that and understand that it's your best of the two options while being critical of what happened to get there. Hey, Algar, thanks for the 23 months. Thanks for the half a year, Mono. Like, and speaking as someone who gave, like, I don't know, I think I gave a little over $200 to Bernie's campaign when all was said and done. If there had been a young progressive running in the race that had a real shot, I would have been 100% behind them. In fact, part of the reason why I donated to Pete's campaign back before he did his opportunistic pivot was because I wanted someone younger. But at the end of the day, when all the chips were down, Bernie was the only actual progressive candidate in the race. So he was the one that got my support, but I definitely would have preferred throwing my support behind someone who was not an old white dude. Yeah, Conqueror's Death is probably a good trim. I agree. I'm gonna leave one in, because, like, getting my Teferi back is fine, and, like, they do have Luris every game, but, yeah. So, German Space Ace, it's important to understand the actual statistics. So, the percentage of youth compared to the percentage of older people that voted was low, like it always is, but voter turnout across all age ranges in the recent Democratic primaries was up. Bernie did increase youth voter turnout. It's just older people increased their voter turnout even more. And again, like, can we do more to bring those numbers up more? Almost assuredly. But, like, it is important to, like, acknowledge the reality of what happened as well. I don't know that you need to make voting necessarily compulsory, but I think you need to make it more accessible, right? Like, voting by mail should be available everywhere, and I think you should go as far to incentivize it. Like, I think you could give people a small tax credit if they vote. Would people show up for a $100 tax credit at the end of the year if they voted in the general? Yeah, probably. But again, like, one of the things you have to understand is that, like, one of the political parties in the United States stands to fundamentally lose if more people are able to vote. So they have a vested interest in making it more difficult for people to vote. That's what you're dealing with. Even making it a holiday doesn't fix all your issues though, right? Because, like, there's plenty of people in service industries who need to work on holidays, right? Yeah, that's definitely something that should happen. Registration should be something that happens automatically, and you should have to opt out of it as opposed to opting into it. That would be ideal. You turn 18, you should be automatically registered to vote at your place of residence. It's not hard. I'm gonna go ahead and shatter here because it's a little bit more expensive. The only thing they have that dies to shatter that doesn't die to Deafening Clarion, I think, is Fiend Artisan, and I have a Justice Strike to clean up a Fiend Artisan. Boris to Owner, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome to Oglandia. Land drops?
No, I am not making
Land drops? Yikes. Alright, well, I mean, I guess we're looking for a land, huh? Cheers, I'm an Aussie, and here voting is compulsory, and we use preferential ranked choice voting system. Look at that. No joke, if my wife ever lost her job that provides us with what's considered good health insurance in this country, we'll probably seriously consider leaving the United States.
Trust me, I have a
There's just so much fundamentally broken here. I can do my job from anywhere that has a broadband internet connection. Good. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest. We're in garbage time.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Hope all goes smoothly with the newborn. Ours is due the first week of June. Also saw that Amari's a free upgrade to the Merfolk deck. Feel free. Ooh, that's a good catch. You know, I looked over those the other day and I forgot to think about companions. I'm gonna add Amari to the Merfolk deck for the main deck at least, and then take a look at the other decks up there too. The companions have really adjusted how you need to look at decks through lenses and think about deck building overall. They've added a new layer to it. And good luck with your newborn as well, Reputation. Due at the start of June. They can come at any time now. 36 weeks is full term. Christie's due June 20th, technically. So, we're hopefully the hoots on the 23rd will be in the clear. My other two children came about 2 weeks early, so if this one follows suits, that'll be early June for us. Kobe, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. So, as someone who's very pro-technology, I don't think online voting is a good idea. I think having a physical thing that you can trace and count is probably ideal. That being said, voting by mail is something that should be more accessible. There's a lot of bad faith actors that can do bad things with Yeah, me too, Gato Gelato. Especially with the historic queue coming and being always on, there's a good chance this channel is going to become more and more historic focused. Historic best 60 card format NA. Would anyone sub 25 even know how to mail something? It's not that hard. Yeah, we're gonna try a couple of aggro decks today in standard. The Jeskai Luris and Teamer Mutate decks are actually I added into standard personally because I wanna give them a shake. I need to find a standard deck I want to play at the Mythic Invitational qualifier later this month. The mono black Barrage list is the strongest aggro deck I've played against. Yeah, I don't know. It's just decks like that just aren't tricky enough for me. I believe you that it's good. I don't know, looking at it, that it's the type of deck that I'm gonna enjoy playing. Hopefully whatever our opponent has going on in their life, they catch up with here. we don't have to wait every game action. The gameplay is pretty scripted. Yeah, that's usually how decks like that end up playing out in my experience. So, like, again, you look at the games that we played in this set, and we were very good against the aggressive decks, but the first field deck just gave us a thrashing, and I'll be interested to see if we can be competitive here or not. I feel like I would be surprised if we're competitive against a Field of the Dead deck with this archetype. And I don't know, maybe potentially being okay against Field of the Dead is a reason to give Dream Trawler still a try. Because, like, Dream Trawler gives us an actual win condition that closes out here. I've got double Shark Typhoon in hand here, so maybe, like, double Shark Typhoon plus Ultimatum can give us a shot this game. Yeah, I'm actually interested to see how this game specifically plays out, because I feel like these Shark Typhoons give us a real shot. Yeah, and honestly, I agree. It could just be fine to, like, be like, okay, Field's a bad matchup and we're okay with that. I don't think Field being a bad matchup is necessarily, like, the end of the world. It's not uncommon in older formats for you to have matchups where you're like, well, I'm just punting that one because I'm really good in a lot of other places.
Here we go.
Because, like, our creature matchups are, like, really good. Man, I need to mute this Twitter thread because people are just so unbelievably stupid. This is an actual quote that a human being typed about Magic the Gathering. It feels now as if every deck enacts its game plan flawlessly. Are these people playing the same game of Magic I'm playing? Because I genuinely feel like we're playing different games, chat. And that's for people that haven't heard what we were talking about before this, that's with regards to the London Mulligan. They feel the London Mulligan makes every deck enact its game plan perfectly. Like, yeah, like when people say things, I'm like, y'all can't possibly be playing the same games of Magic I'm playing. Like, Magic has more variants than any other card game that's been made in the last 5+ years, even with the London Mulligan. Like, I feel like these folks just haven't played non-Magic card games. Because, like, Magic is just such an incredibly high variance level in comparison. It's wild to me. If you didn't play Magic, you would think the London Mulligan lets you stack your deck. Yeah, no joke. No joke. This is why I have one of each basic in my deck for things like Field of Ruin. Yeah, Teferi stopped their Teferi from end stepscape shifting us, which was nice. Double Fabled Passage here. We're probably dead here still, huh? Shark. I mean, even, and to be fair, even if we'd have had Dream Trawler this game, we probably still would have been dead, right? Okay. That doesn't even really do it though, right? Because I can't instant speed this because of their Teferi.
I'll protect you.
So I get to do this, and then like they have 6 more zombies at my end of turn because they have triple Field of the Dead. Yeah, like the Shark Typhoon could be good, but yeah, it's looking like we're just not gonna have a shot to ever actually get it online, right? Yeah, a lot of the states that are being reasonably run are issuing plans to slowly reopen because they do need to slowly reopen. But a key part of slowly reopening places is having an appropriate amount of testing, because you need to be able to have access to that to be able to figure out who is actually sick. I thought we were boycotting Blizzard. Why am I watching Hearthstone? Asking the real questions. Yeah, you need tracing is ideal as well. Yep. Being able to figure out who went where and who was sick where, etc. So we need another sweeper here. Oh wow, I actually don't have the 3rd red for this at the moment, do I? What do you suggest I play? The greedy Yorion decks have been the best decks in the format. The deck that won the last Hoglande Open felt really good. It'd probably be where I would start. See Nox's post on YouTube yesterday. I did not. Alright, so I need to draw... Yeah, feel free. I'm not gonna watch it now, but you can feel free to link it for other people that might be interested. So we need to draw a sweeper here again, of which I have 4 remaining in my deck. Swing and a miss, so we're dead. Yeah, and like I felt like we had good tools to maybe have a chance there, but then they just put so much pressure on us that I was never able to have an opportunity to get the Shark Typhoon down, and they just drowned us out with their Field of the Deads. How's Control doing in Historic? Seems like a real common concern. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, this format doesn't have a ton of people exploring it. It's definitely the case. I made the mistake of saying the words out loud earlier. I haven't played against a lot of Field of the Dead in this format, so now we've played against it against 2 out of the 4 matches here. So, we beat both of the creature decks we played against very easily. Both the Field of the Dead matchups we played have not felt good. They felt pretty close to unwinnable. But again, I think decks like what we're playing being the best deck in the format and not having a Predator to them is a bad thing overall. I think Field of the Dead is one of the things that helps keep this format well regulated, because the good aggro decks are able to keep obnoxious combo decks in check. And then things like Field of the Dead help keep Control from running out of control.
This isn't a fight you can win.
I'm gonna plus this. They probably aren't killing it. I play something I want to bounce. I don't need to draw a card right now. Yeah, the combo aggro decks often beat Field of the Dead in my experience too. That's largely been my experience. Like I said, when you're playing a deck like what we're playing, Field of the Dead feels really strong, but then when you play the range of what I would consider to be the better decks in this format, I don't think Field's actually that overbearing. Questing Beast is the best hate card ever printed. That's unfortunate. That's a pretty big punish for me just ticking my thing up. Although that's a good draw. I get to stick this. Would black base control do better? Maybe. Like, Unmoored Ego has a small window, but a lot of these Field of the Dead decks have other tools that allow them to go bigger. Like, this opponent's playing Scape Shift, so their game plan's a little bit more linear. But for example, if you look back at the start of this set, and you look at the Teamer Field deck that we played against, the Teamer Field deck had a lot of extra win conditions. Bib, thank you for the very generous sub-gifties. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. It's still good against those decks, though, G-Goat. So again, like, what you're doing there is you're saying Questing Beast isn't a one-card beat them. And you're right. Questing Beast doesn't automatically beat most Field of the Dead decks on their own. However, it is a piece in a winning puzzle. You know the thing about Field, the answer is not an interactive deck. I disagree with you. So, what you're doing there is making the equivalent. You're saying that you can't be interactive at all and beat Field. What you actually mean is you can't not win the game and beat Field. Field of the Dead is the king of inevitability in this format and most formats. Field of the Dead is the supreme example of you need to actually win the game. You can't just sit there forever and do nothing. And a lot of people take issue with the fact that the game needs to end. Yes, which is why Questing Beast is one of the best hate cards against Field of the Dead, because it actually ends the game. Big agree. And even here, right? Like, I'm actually kind of controlling this game, right? Like, if we just keep their board clear for a little bit, this is going to ult and that'll win me the game. And I have 2 more sweepers in my hand, so there's a very, very real chance I get to ult this. Yes, Rampaging Frostdown is also a very good hate card in this matchup. Big agree with that.
Here goes nothing.
Again, I would consider Field being a hard matchup for decks like what we're playing a feature of the format, not a bug. Do I need to counter this? Probably. Yeah, let's not give them a second Field for now. Yeah, the Tef ult is definitely better if we keep the second Field off the board.
You know what? I'm not done yet. Don't worry, I got this.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Remember when I said, do we Disdainful Stroke the other thing? And then we Disdainful Stroked it, then this happened. Alright, I'm gonna do this and try and draw my last copy of Disdainful Stroke. Whoo! 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 Lordy, lordy! Lordy, lordy! You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. Got him. Ha! Got him. Alright, so Agent of Treachery is a card we need to play around. The more you know. The more you know. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Yeah, that was the easy game, right? That was the game where we were on the play. Now we gotta try and win one on the draw. It was good. It was good television. If anything, it was good television. Alright, Sphinx is rev for 5. Try and draw my counterspell. No, I don't think I can win that game without my Teferi ultimate. I think if I don't ult my Teferi there, that game is a loss. So I think it's right to play to my Disdainful Stroke. I think Ultimatum hitting my own Teferi is playing to lose more slowly as opposed to playing to win like I did. Oh no, I forgot to fill my water bottle up before I started streaming this morning. I'll have to do that after this set. Wonder if they overboarded. I don't know. Agent seems like a good card to bring in against my slow control deck. I'm gonna be honest, Beansy. I'm excited for Ranked Historic because other people are excited for it. But in terms of, like, what I do here on the daily, Ranked Historic versus the Historic Constructed events, like, isn't really super meaningfully different for me. Having Ranked Historic always be on will make other people more excited to play Historic, so I'm happy for them. But as far as, like, me as an individual, it's kind of a wash. I'm not, like, so long as there's, like, always a queue where I could, like, play, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Yeah, of course Canada handled COVID relief better than the United States. Come on now. They're a country that cares about their people. You know, the United States cares about corporations, chat. I don't know that everyone handling it better is probably a little bit of an overstatement. Many handling it better is accurate. Yeah, many, most. Those are accurate adjectives. Probably cycling Shark Typhoon this turn, looking for a sweeper. Yeah, from my understand, Brazil and some other countries that have right-leaning governments have handled it just as, if not more poorly than the United States. Some countries are way off the actual numbers, I feel. Yeah, like the United States is almost assuredly way off because we don't have the capability to appropriately test people, so we don't have a realistic gauge of how many carriers are out there that aren't actually showing symptoms. Alright. Okay. That's not bad. I think I start by Narsetting, Because if I Narset into a Shatter, I'd rather Shatter. Or do they have a dispute here? I think I'm supposed to decline and just Clarion here. It's unfortunate. If we get Agent of Treachery, we're probably dead. Yeah, I was kind of counting on the Azcanta to pull us through. Yep. Those matches kind of went how I was expecting them to go, if I'm being honest. I don't, like I talked about in those matches, just to wrap up concisely, I don't know if there's things you can do to meaningfully make that matchup better as Jeskai. And perhaps, like, if Field of the Dead is an archetype in the format, and you want to have a chance against it with control, you need to be in the Esper colors. That way you can play something like Unmoored Ego. I don't even know that Ashiok really helps all that much, because there's a lot of Field of the Dead decks that don't actually do that much searching. So like the last opponent, it's easy to pigeonhole on, like, okay, they had Scape Shift, and they had Scape Shift, and they had the Circuitous Route, but there's a lot of Field of the Dead variants that don't play those cards, and Blood Sun's not very good, and Golos, and Blood Sun's not very good because, like, that opponent already had 3-mana Teferi and Night of Autumn in their deck against us, right? So, like, sure, you could do it, and it might buy you a little bit of time, but I think overall you're still just going to have a really hard matchup there, and I think just planning to dodge is honestly probably the more reasonable thing to be doing. I think if you are playing a deck like this, you probably just need to accept that in terms of where you fall in the metagame, is that you're reasonable against combo, you're good against aggro, and you're a dog against Field of the Dead. So, can't we just play Field of the Dead? I mean, you could theoretically jam some fields in here, but that also doesn't solve your problem, right? Like, you're not going to find Field of the Dead anywhere near as consistently as they do, and even when you do find it, you're not going to turn it on or trigger it as consistently. I don't even think Deputy of Detention really helps you that much. Like, sure, you could try that, I guess, but, like, there were games like, you should go and watch some of those Field of the Dead games that we played. We had games where, like, we swept and killed all their zombies 2, 3, 4 turns in a row, and then ultimately lost, right? That could be a thing too. So like, I don't have it in my deck editor right now, but there was a Jeskai Planeswalker taking turns deck that made a deep run in the last Hoaglandia Open, and that could be a control variation that's probably pretty okay against Field of the Dead, because in addition to being a control deck, it also is able to have, like, the pseudo combo finish with taking all the turns. Detention Sphere doesn't help any more than Deputy of Detention. Any more Deputy. You've been testing against Field that isn't close. Yeah, I would believe that. That shows are, like, actively good. Someone said, is Goblin Rune Blaster too cute? This is a good thing to learn. Look at the average Field of the Dead deck, and then tell me how many lands that they play, and how many ways to get lands do they play and get more lands into play. Now, compare that to playing four ways to destroy lands in your deck. They have way more ways to get their lands into play than you do ways to destroy it, no matter how to build your deck. So just, like, attacking their lands isn't a good way to do it. What do you think of the Song of Creation Storm deck? I don't look at decks while I'm streaming, Kelvin. I appreciate the 13 months, though. You can feel free to post it in Discord and tag me later, and I'll take a peek at it. All right, we've got some more historic decks coming up here still today. We are going to kick the tires on some green Devotion up next here. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get everything set up and flipped over. We'll be back in just a few minutes trying to ramp out some big green monsters. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. Yes, Rune Blaster is much better in a deck like Gruul, where you're applying pressure while disrupting their land, because your plan isn't just destroy their lands, it's slow them down while you kill them.